Hey y'all, this week on the podcast, we're going to talk about try again.
All while having a whole lot of fun.
Here we go. Hi, and welcome back to As Good As It Gets, the podcast.
I'm Cris.
And I'm Mikey.
And this is a weekly virtual chat from our kitchen table in our camper kitchen.
We are in northern Arizona. We've been exploring the Grand Canyon this week, and it's a blast. It's huge.
Yes.
It's big. Y'all ever been to the Grand Canyon? Is it not like one of the biggest things you've ever seen?
Yes. And we're trying not to get blown away because the weather has been insanely windy.
We went from 95-degree weather in Lake Havasu last week to, I think today it's going to hit 60 at the high. At night it gets in the 20s.
It's warming up.
My neighbor next door, we haven't really talked much to our neighbors, but one of our neighbors comes up to me while I'm working on a problem that we'll talk about here in a little bit on the RV, and he says, I don't think anybody got the memo that winter has been canceled because it's just been cold and windy.
It's been cold and windy. We've had a couple good days that we've been able to go to the national park, and then we've been kind of hunkering down as the wind has hit and it's been real cold. Yeah. Because Mikey won't stay off the edges of the cliffs, so I won't let him go out there when it's windy. So
probably a good idea.
That's probably a good idea.
But you can't go to the Grand Canyon and not go to the edge and see and look down and see a mile straight down. It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Little dangerous.
I like to see it from far away so that I don't end up falling a mile deep. That's kind of how I feel about it.
I didn't fall once while I was there. That's why we're not going back, I guess, so that I don't fall again. But no, we're having a good time.
Yes.
And then we're off on another adventure next week.
Yes.
We're not sure yet where we're going, but we're going to go somewhere. We're going to plan that out here in the next couple days. But the Grand Canyon's been cool. We liked California. We liked Arizona so much we came back to it. And then I don't know where do you know where we're going from?
I don't know. We're still figuring out a few things. We originally had planned on, we weren't planning on coming to the Grand Canyon, but that's the way everything worked out on paper. So there's lots of logistics to figure out. But anyhow, enough of that. One more housekeeping thing. Because we're going to be kind of in transition and we have some personal things that have come up, next week...
Not bad things.
No. But next week, there will not be a podcast.
We're taking a break.
Yes.
We're on a break!
No.
Where's that from? Anybody?
I know where that's from. Goodness. So just so you know that's why you won't see us on Saturday/Sunday whenever this comes out next week. We're going to have just a little what's that called? In between two acts.
Break.
An intermission. That's what it's called.
Yeah. It's going to let you guys get a chance to get up, go use the bathroom, get yourself some coffee. Have some popcorn.
Yes.
Mingle in the lobby. And then we'll be back the following week again with another podcast for sure.
Yep.
So,
now
I guess we talk about...
I guess it's finally time for that bad dad joke.
It's not a bad dad joke this time. It's a good dad joke. It's hilarious. In fact, I just read it today. I was reading through on Facebook, and one of my friends and former coworkers, Randy, shared it, and I just this is it. This was meant to be, but actually, it's kind of scientific.
Of course, it is.
You see, there was a study in California where we just came from. There was like a month period where all of these crows were found dead on the highway. And they were thinking it might have been from a virus that had been going around, some kind of epidemic that affected the birds. And they found out that it was just crows. And they, of course, examined the crows and everything, and there was no virus. And they come to find out they all had like little paint marks on them where they had been hit by vehicles on the highway. Only they noticed that 94% of the crows that had been hit were hit by motorcycles and not just regular vehicles. And so they had an aviary ornithologist come in and examine what was going on. And what they've come out with is that crows would fly into the roadway and eat sometimes the litter, sometimes food that people had thrown out. But there was always one crow that would sit back, and it was like the lookout for the other crows. But the problem was their language, because all of the crows could easily go caw, 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 but not a single one of the crows could go motorcycle, motorcycle, motorcycle. I thought it was a good joke.
We need a wah wah sound.
I'm sure there's a few back home, a few watching this that are doing that very thing. But something else funny that happened was while we were at the Grand Canyon. I thought it was funny. This lady's husband thought it was hilarious. She, not so much. British lady, if you're watching.
British lady.
She was
my
British.
goodness.
I could tell by her accent. So I have a small fear of heights, but I like to do things to get myself over it. Like, I don't know, stand at the edge of a cliff a mile high.
Correction. He likes to do it to get at me.
It was also fun to do that. You'll see that in an upcoming episode where she shuts the camera off real quick, and then I can't. She wasn't filming the lecture that I got afterwards. But anyway, I was standing near the canyon edge, and there was this husband and wife that were walking up the path, and they were probably a good 20 or 30 feet away from the edge, but this gal had a huge fear of heights. You could tell she was like, every time she'd look over, she'd kind of yelp, and she was shaking, and she was crying, and she every few feet or so, she'd have to sit down and take a break and hide her eyes because she was terrified of the heights. There was no way that she was going to get pulled off the edge. She was far enough away, but I know what it's like to have a fear like that, like spiders.
She had common sense is what it boils down to.
She had agoraphobia, which is fear of heights, by the way. But anyway, I saw this, and of course, I decided I'd help the lady out, and I walked towards the edge of the cliff and started, like, doing one of these numbers where it looked like I was balancing along the edge of the cliff. What she didn't see was below me was a ledge about 5 feet down that was about 10 feet wide, to where if I was to actually fall off the cliff, I was going to fall down 5 feet, and I almost did at one point, but I decided better not. But anyway, I start acting like I'm like right there on the edge, and she's like, oh my lord, that man's going to die. Of course, then I got a chuckle at it. Of course, her husband thought it was hilarious. She, not so much. And I said, what's wrong? There's nothing wrong with this. It's not like I'm going to die. And I purposely tripped myself and like fell forward. She fell over. She almost fainted. She started crying. And she said, that's not funny. That's not funny at all. Of course, in that accent, I was laughing even harder. So I did not make friends with the British lady. British lady, if you're watching, now you know there was no way I was going to really die. I was just going to go down to another ledge, and then I didn't make friends with the... I did not have very good foreign relations that day.
So let's just recap. Rattlesnakes, sunburns, and canyon ledges. I don't know where I can take you.
That is going to be the name of my next book.
Your memoir.
My memoir. Rattlesnakes, sunburns, and canyon ledges.
The reasons my wife will kill me.
The reasons my wife's going to take me back home and lock me up. But no, we're having a good time. It's a blast. Well, let's go on to eat good food.
Eat good food.
While people are putting down in the comments below of how mean I am. Reckless and careless.
Yes. So this week on the channel, you're going to see an old familiar face. We have turned those ribs that I'm absolutely obsessed about into an electric pressure cooker recipe. Mm-hmm. Speaking of which...
We had them last night, too.
Yes, we
haven't
I'm
quite
just a wee bit obsessed with that recipe.
I'm okay with it. Really good.
So, no, but I've been getting a lot of questions because folks know that I've gotten the Crock-Pot Express pressure cooker, which is like Crock-Pot brand's version of the same kind of device that Instant Pot became famous for. Mm-hmm. And so folks have been asking me about if I like it and how it's working, and the answer is I like it a lot. One of my questions when I got it was for myself was, how's the slow cooker feature going to work on it? Because longtime listeners will know that I am not a big fan of the Instant Pot slow cooker feature. Like, it just felt like it just didn't have enough oomph to it. It didn't cook hot enough. I need to go back and revisit it because with the Crock-Pot Express, I decided I wanted to see if the slow cook feature on it, not the pressure cook feature, which works wonderfully and fine. But I wanted to see if the slow cook feature worked as well. And my assessment so far, and you're going to see this on the channel too, is because we do a slow cooker recipe in it too this week. My assessment is that I like it, but it does cook cooler than what the hot cooking slow cookers like the Ninja and that kind of thing. So
Still my favorite.
If you put it on low, it's going to cook almost a lot more, in my opinion, like the old-fashioned slow cookers. And I know a lot of people are looking for that. So that has a positive kind of feature to it. So I still need to test a few more things, but so far I've liked it. I like having that option in the RV in particular, because if we're going to be gone for a long time, I don't like cooking something for a few hours and then popping it when it's cooked hot, real hot, and then popping it over to warm for a long time, because sometimes I feel like that overcooks the food. So I like this longer cooking time kind of thing. It just, when you take a regular recipe and that has been adapted for the hotter cooking recipes, you got to go back to kind of the old way of thinking that it's going to take a little bit longer to cook. So it's just kind of you got to know what you're using. You got to know what device you're using, that kind of thing. But the long story short is, I do like the Crock-Pot Express a lot. And our viewers and readers also like it, or apparently wanted to give it a try, because all 3 of our winners from last week, the giveaway winners, all 3 of them chose to get the Crock-Pot Express
over the Ninja. Thanks a lot, guys.
But no, I think it's cool. They probably already have some kind of slow cooker, and this is a way for them to have the pressure cooker. And so all 3 of them, I've even gotten some pictures already from Lori. She's been using her pressure cooker. So big congrats to those guys.
Yep.
So everybody's got theirs now.
Lori, Kevin, and Angela.
Angie. Yep. And so this week on the channel, you're going to see those ribs turned into electric pressure cooker recipe. So good. So yummy. And then you're also going to see how we tested the Crock-Pot Express slow cook feature by making a lower carb version of our stuffed pepper soup. So we have a really popular soup on the blog called stuffed pepper soup. And I just tweaked it a little bit to make it a little easier to throw together, and then also to kind of cut down on a few of the carbs. And Addie has been telling me for weeks, because we've had it several times since. She's like, this is now her favorite soup.
It's a good soup.
So
it's a really good soup.
She absolutely loves it. So that's the food coming up on the channel this week. So now, how about a little bit of speaking live?
I wasn't speaking as much life, especially yesterday and the day before, as I was spitting a little bit. But try again, because you might not get it your first time. You might not get it your second time. How was it that Edison said it?
I'm looking it up right now.
I do the quote. I think I could butcher his quote pretty well. But he said that he didn't fail 10,000 times.
He found 10,000 ways that didn't work.
Yes.
He didn't fail. He just found 10,000 ways that didn't work.
And that's kind of the way it's been here lately with the RV. It's really, really, really windy up here in Arizona. In northern Arizona, where we're at, out of nowhere, it got, like, the cold front moved in. But I don't care about being cold, but I don't like to feel like I'm getting blown away. And if you guys remember, when we were in Galveston is when we first found out what exactly wind will do with an awning. And our slide out behind us here has got this awning that comes out over the top of it, and it's so that, like, if limbs or any other debris get on top of the slide out, instead it gets, like, on top of the awning, and then when it retracts, anything that was on the awning falls down. That way it didn't get caught up in the tracks.
It's supposed to help with if you have a slide on your RV where part of it slides out, it's supposed to help protect it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, one of the parts of it that isn't so pleasant is whenever it starts to loosen up and the wind catches it, it literally sounds like somebody is, like, pounding
dancing on top of
the
it.
roof.
Yeah. It feels like you're going to take off.
Yeah.
So last fall, I built these two little big foam things. They're big foam semi-triangles. They fit the angle where it slides underneath the awning, between the awning and the slide out.
You may have seen that on one of the vlogs.
Yeah. And so it blocks the wind, and it makes it a lot quieter, and the wind goes over the awning instead of through the awning, and it doesn't flap and everything and keep us up all night. Well, for some reason, It didn't work this highest trip.
Well, I think it maybe the angle we're parked at or something like that, or maybe the winds are just. I can't believe that the winds are crazier than what we were dealing with in Galveston, but maybe they are.
But the wind ended up going and either blowing out the foam pieces, and and I had tied the foam pieces to the RV so they wouldn't blow away, but they would like spin around and fly out, or they actually blew in underneath the awning, and so the wind was picking and hitting, like getting in between the awning and the foam piece, and actually started tearing the awning a little bit. We got like a 5-inch rip on the side of the awning, which I'm working on.
Yeah, that happened even before the triangle pieces. But ultimately, the bottom line is, for like 2 nights, there was no sleep being had because it literally sounded like somebody was like banging on the roof the entire time, and we're like, why isn't our fix working? And it was just frustrating because when you look at the forecast, like today was supposed to be windy, tomorrow's supposed to be windy. It was just like there was no for the rest of the time we were going to be here, it was going to be miserable, is what it looked like, given how the wind was hitting us and all that kind of thing. And so you kept trying things and trying and trying and trying. And yesterday I fixed it. Struck gold. He figured out how to get them positioned just right. And ever since, even it has been crazy windy outside, but you don't even hear it in here. It is amazing.
Let's just put it this way. I would like to take the credit. Sorry, I hit Mike. I would like to take the credit for fixing the awning, but truly the credit goes to Gorilla Tape. They're not a sponsor of the show, but I will greatly and happily endorse them. Oh my goodness.
And before we get all he has not taped the awning to anything. He's just using it as a tool. It's not, don't worry, we're not Gorilla Taping. We're not.
Talk about redneck vehicle.
No. That's not what's going on. He actually just put pieces that help, put clamps in it.
I used Gorilla Tape and made a strap out of it, and then tied the straps down with more Gorilla Tape, and then used
clamps.
These little red clamps that are really good, and you clamp the awning to the straps that I created with the Gorilla Tape, which holds everything together and doesn't move, and the wind goes over, and it's been nice and quiet. We got a good night's sleep last night for once.
Yes. So the point of this is you're our RV Edison.
I like that. That has a good ring to it.
There you go. So Mikey went and fixed our problem, and we finally got some sleep. So I think it just goes to show, and I think that that's a lot of what goes on in the RV around here, and just in life in general, is if something's not working,
fix it.
You just got to keep trying.
And over and over
and over and over and over again.
Yeah. I feel sometimes we love this RV. We love the RV life. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I feel like Tom Hanks in The Money Pit. Just because you'll fix something and then something else will break.
I don't think he could fix things with Gorilla Tape, though.
I don't think they had Gorilla Tape back then. But anywho, go buy some Gorilla Tape. It'll fix just about anything.
Yeah.
And what Gorilla Tape or duct tape won't fix, that's what WD-40 is for.
Oh,
if you can't fix it with WD-40 or Gorilla Tape, throw it away.
I think those two things would have the opposite effects on things.
Yes. If it's squeaky, you use WD-40. If it's loose, you use Gorilla Tape.
Okay. Now you know. The more you know.
Star Rainbow.
Oh my goodness. Well, that has been pretty much what we wanted to talk about today, hasn't it?
I want to thank everybody that showed up for the open mic that we had on Friday night.
On the Facebook
group. That was a lot of fun. I want to do that some more. Depending on the Wi-Fi, we will, because that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Got to see some familiar faces and some new folks as well that joined in.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for doing that. Let's do it again sometime soon. We don't know if we'll do it on a work week or a weekend, or if we're going to do it on a Sunday or a Saturday or whatever. So I don't know that we'll have different names for it. I just think we'll call it open mic.
Yep.
Because
play off of Mike
exposed
M-I-K-E
to you. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not exposed to you.
What are you even talking about?
I don't know. I think we got off track here. Hey, thanks for showing up We'll do it again sometime. We're just going to call it an open mic. And send requests. I don't mind singing what songs y'all have. You saw, if you were there, you saw that I can butcher any song that you request. Sorry, Amy. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Let's do it again.
Yeah. And so just a reminder, there won't be a podcast next week, but we will have regular things on the channel as usual. And coming up this week, you will see a hike in Joshua Tree National Park.
As well as a trip to a dog beach where Aki had a good old time.
Yes. So all of you Mr. Octavius fans are going to be happy because you get to see the doggy cam this time.
Yes. Not only do you get to see the dog, but you get to see the dog's perspective. And all I got to say is there was a whole lot of butt sniffing. For the dog, not us.
Oh, my word.
Anyway, thank you guys for watching or listening and tuning in. If you wanna and you haven't yet, become a subscriber. All you got to do is click that little subscribe button down below, and you're automatically a member of the Crock Posse. Click the little bell. It'll let you know anytime that we bring up something new.
Yes.
And then also,
laugh often.
Eat good food.
And speak life.
See
Bye,
you guys.
guys.
Bye. Would you...
My husband thinks that's a very annoying sound. I'm trying to get such a... Would you rather me do it now or during the podcast?
This is the podcast. If you want to see the latest, click on the left right here. If you feel like subscribing, click on the right, my dear. And if you think we're funny enough to send us money, click the Patreon link.